4 games. Let's run the floor. We started the show this morning with Kristaps Porzingis being ejected in the third quarter for getting his second technical in that moment. That overshadowed a great performance by his teammate Luka Doncic, who scored 42 points, but not enough. Clippers beat the Mavericks. Paul George and the Clippers outscoring Dallas 52-39 after Porzingis was tossed. How about 57 points from Donovan Mitchell? But that not enough, as the Jazz lose to the Nuggets by 10 in overtime. Mitchell, the youngest player since Michael Jordan in 1986 to score 50 in a playoff game. Raptors an easy winner in Game 1 over the Nets. They shot 7-11 from the floor in the fourth quarter as they beat the Nets by 24. Fred VanVleet finished with 30 points, made 8 threes. Only Vince Carter has made more threes in a playoff game for the Raptors, so they cruise to the easiest win of the day. And then the rivalry renewed. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown led the Celtics past the Sixers 109-101. Tatum had 32. Afterwards, look at Joel Embiid. Not happy with the number of shots he got. Quote, obviously not enough shots. I've got to be more aggressive. Maybe we need to call some more plays, but I don't know. That's another thing we've got to fix going into Game 2. I bring Tim Legler back on that thought. Sixers played it tough last night. Legler here with our basketball conversation this morning. What'd you think of what Embiid said there?
Well, there's no question there's truth in it. And I think one of the things you've got to focus on is it's collective here. When you talk about blame for why he doesn't get more shots, part of it is Joel Embiid, because when you watch him for 48 minutes, there are stretches in the games where he just doesn't really fight hard enough for position. And I think part of it's related to his conditioning. It's a lot of work to be that big and physical and to post up time and time again, to get the amount of touches, the double teams, the contact you're going to get. It takes a lot out of you. And so you've got to be willing to do it for the entire 48 minutes. And there will be stretches where he just doesn't want to go down there. So that's part of it. Part of it is the play design. He's 100% right. They don't have specific plays designed to get him the ball in the post. You need to put that into your offense and have wrinkles you go to on this given set, this trip, the ball's going in, and here's how we're going to get it to you. They don't really have that. And then finally, I think basketball IQ around him. There were opportunities in that game without question when the ball should have gone in. He's got someone pinned on his back. He's just off the lane, and the ball is going around the perimeter, 2 or 3 different guys. They don't even take a look in there on plays when he clearly had position and wanted the ball. So you can put blame a lot of places for why he doesn't get more shots. But the one thing we all can agree on, if Joel Embiid doesn't take at least 20-plus shots in every game in this series, Philadelphia's not going to win a game. And for them to have a shot in this series, he needs to be the best player on the floor, better than anybody on Boston. And clearly that wasn't the case in Game 1 because Jason Tatum was that.
All right, so those were yesterday's games. Now we turn our attention to what begins today, and that includes the Lakers. And I want you to hear something Jeff Van Gundys said to me yesterday on my radio show. I said to him, you know, Dame Lillard comes in so hot. This Blazers team is a team I wouldn't want any part of. He sees it completely differently. This was Jeff Van Gundy yesterday.
I think if they had Ariza, I think it would be much more dangerous because then they would have a legitimate matchup for James. Right now, their choices are Carmelo, who is basically a 4-man, and Zach Collins, who's a 5-man. You know, Gary Trent is, you know, a little light. The 2 guards are smaller. So I know it's in vogue to say that they're going to present a lot of danger, and I think Portland's players are good, but I think there's a bigger chance that Portland gets swept than they win the series.
That raised my eyebrows. What'd you think of it, Legs?
Well, I'm going to go for curtain number 3 if I can. So curtain 1 is they get swept. Curtain 2 is they win the series. How about I go with curtain 3? Because I think it's more likely that Portland wins 2 games than either of those other scenarios. I do think they're going to present a challenge, and there's a couple reasons. I think, first of all, he's right about the lack of matchups defensively for LeBron, and that's true. But here's the thing. How many 8 seeds do you get with a top 10 player? First of all, that's rare. Then to get a top 10 player playing some of the best offensive basketball of his career, that's even rarer. And then on top of it, you've got a team in Portland that just, for all intents and purposes, just played 9 very meaningful games. Maybe even you would consider them playoff games. From the time they hit the ground in Orlando, they had to start winning right away. Lakers haven't played a meaningful game since mid-March. So to think that Portland can't get this interesting in the beginning of this series, I don't think that's true. I think they absolutely can. I wouldn't be shocked if the Lakers dig a hole here. Whether they lose a game here at the start or split these first 2, it's not going to shock me. Eventually, it's a best of 7. They've got the better team. They've got LeBron James. They're going to win this series. But I don't think you can just dismiss Portland the way that they're playing and getting their bigs back. Nurkic playing great basketball. Lillard as hot as he is. This is a team, I think, that absolutely could put up numbers on the Lakers and possibly even steal a game 1.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.